Hi guys, so Boris Johnson and Keir Starmer clashed on council taxes in Parliament on Wednesday. Now, nobody really landed any blows, unfortunately. It was quite an uneventful PMQs. But Boris Johnson raised an issue about council tax, and I want to talk about that in a moment because Boris Johnson, of course, is a compulsive liar, and I'm going to point out how he's lying. So let's see the exchange.
Turning to next week's budget. Now, I don't expect the Prime Minister to preempt what's in the budget. If I want that, I can read it on the front page of the Times. But can the Prime Minister at least agree with me today that now is not the time for tax rises for families and for businesses?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know about you, but the budget is happening next week. It's not a date that is concealed from the right honourable gentleman. He knows when it's happening. He knows what to expect. But it's preposterous for him, Mr. Speaker, to talk about tax rises when he stood on a manifesto only a year ago, Mr. Speaker, or a little over a year ago, to put up taxes by the biggest amount in the history of this country.
He's not talking about taxes on everyone. He's talking about taxes on the working class, on the poor and the working class. Are you going to increase taxes on them?
It is the Labour Party, Mr. Speaker, his Labour Council in Camden, that puts up taxes across the country. That is the way Labour behave, and it's thanks to prudent fiscal management by this government that we've been able to fight this pandemic in the way that we have.
What? Prudent? What? £22 billion handed over to test and trace to Dido Harding, and it's gone. It's gone. 22 billion. Gone. That's prudent? Okay.
He wants to talk about tax rises. And he should, because this matters. Councils up and down the country are being forced to decide now whether to put council tax up. That's a £2 billion rise on families. I'm not blaming councils. They've been starved of funding for a decade. And Labour and Conservative councils are in the same position. For example, the Prime Minister might want to concentrate on his own constituency. His own council, Hillingdon, Conservative-run Hillingdon, is voting to increase council tax by 4.8%. Does the Prime Minister think that they're right to do that?
Prime
Mr.
Minister.
Speaker, Hillingdon Council, in common with most Conservative councils, has been running lower taxes and lower council taxes than Labour up and down the country. He's completely wrong, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to correct him.
Actually, no, Boris, you're completely wrong, because I want to show you this this council tax index from 2020 to 2021, and they've actually divided it up in low tax, very low tax, low tax, average tax, and if we go down to the bottom, way down, high tax. Okay, so let's go to where Boris Johnson's council is. And it's number 50, 153, no, 158, Hillingdon. They're increasing taxes by 3.8%. They're in the bracket of average. So Boris Johnson's saying that they're the lowest. They're one of the lowest. But they're not. They're very much not one of the lowest. Actually, one of the lowest is, I looked here, I just took a random one at the top. It was Hammersmith and Fulham. I did a quick research, and Hammersmith and Fulham is run by the Labour Party. So the Labour Party council of Hammersmith and Fulham have lower taxes than a Conservative Hillingdon. How is that possible, Boris Johnson?
The top 10 highest council taxing councils in this country are run by the Labour Party, Mr. Speaker, and they are all going to put their taxes up, Mr. Speaker, except for one in those top 10, which is Burnley, which is currently in no overall control, Mr. Speaker. And he talks about London and my own record on taxes. He should
your own record on London, Boris. You should just shut the F up, okay?
talk to the current Labour Mayor of London, who is putting up his council tax by 10%. Because I can tell him that the previous Conservative Mayor of London, Mr. Speaker, cut council tax by 20%. That's what Conservative councils do.
Keir Starmer.
The fact is, Mr. Speaker, that £15 billion has been taken out of council budgets over the last 10 years. The Prime Minister stopped blaming others for the damage he's done, and he quotes the Mayor. This was the former Mayor who bought water can that can be used, spent millions on a garden bridge that never got built, and then more recently going to pay roast to Dominic Cummings.
Boris Johnson was a terrible mayor. He wasted millions of pounds, and now he's planning to waste more money on a bridge between Scotland and Northern Ireland. Or maybe that has already been cancelled, because I read something about an underwater roundabout near the Isle of Man or something. Now, these are pie-in-the-sky ideas, but it doesn't mean that there won't be money thrown at them, because, you know, somebody needs a job, somebody needs to receive some public money. Money has to go from the Treasury into Tory party donor pockets. That's how politics works. You know, I think at this stage Boris Johnson's purpose is just to funnel money. He's basically some sort of money launderer. Takes money from the Exchequer and hands it over as he's a conduit for cash. Take money from the Exchequer and hand it over to his donors or his friends of the party.
Speaker, this is another PMQs with yet again no answers.
Yes, and this is my biggest problem with PMQs. Boris Johnson is asked a question, he doesn't answer it. Keir Starmer asks another question, Boris Johnson doesn't answer it. Boris Johnson grandstands, insults Keir Starmer, and then asks for unity. What is the point of all of this? It's the same every time. Running around in a circle. It doesn't get any better. Look, I don't think it's going to change a great deal if Boris Johnson is replaced. But I remember Theresa May wasn't as bad as this. She actually tried to answer some of the questions, tried to engage with the opposition. I think the pandemic was a real opportunity to create real unity. But Boris Johnson saw it as an opportunity just to grandstand. He saw it as an opportunity to funnel money from the Exchequer into the pockets of his donors and friends. And he has succeeded in that, and he is still succeeding in that, and he's not been held to account. And this is not a criticism of Keir Starmer. It's just because Boris Johnson has his 80-seat majority, and there's nothing that can be done about it. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?